Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Minimira Show, where we talk about emotions, life philosophy, spirituality, and so much more. I'm your host, Amira Sookram, and I am a feelings-based author and yoga teacher. So I have the book Guilt-Free Goals, and I'm currently working on my second book right now. Let's dive right in. I want to start off by talking about emotions and where we learn to experience, feel, or not feel our emotions. So oftentimes when we're growing up, or even in your daily life right now, you might hear people say things to you like, you're too sensitive, you're too much, that didn't happen, it really wasn't that bad, or just anything where they start to dismiss your lived experiences. And sometimes I just want to say to people like, no, this is actually true. This is what I'm feeling. I think we often get language mixed up because people talk about how, thoughts aren't real and like we don't have to listen to every one of our thoughts. We could just observe, which is completely true, except we also can't dismiss our feelings and our subjective experiences around where those thoughts are coming from. Because your feelings are valid. And you can't just bypass them or ignore them, or they're still going to be trapped and stored within the body. So for today, I want to explore what we kind of view in our childhood and how that manifests later emotionally or unemotionally, right? So I actually got on a childhood sweater today. This is literally like my parents just pulled this out of the basement and I don't know, it still fits. So I put it on. I think it looks cute, but basically it's just like working with that inner child. There are things from our childhood that we pick up on, either consciously or subconsciously, that stick with us. We may have had parents, most of us, and most likely you've had parents who weren't present emotionally or didn't teach you how to be present with yourself emotionally. Because when we have big experiences and big emotions when we're younger, if no one teaches us how to process those emotions, then we just have to learn on our own. And oftentimes we don't actually learn those skills because unless we go to therapy or unless we actually engage in a practice where we can learn those skills, it's not something that comes naturally to people. It all makes sense because of how emotion has evolved over time, but that's something we'll get into in another episode. It's hard to face your emotions when you are not taught how to do so. You might have observed a parent who drinks or smokes or avoids their emotions in some way, like in a form of escape. You might have had a parent who overshares and shares so many of their emotions with you without your consent, and it feels uncomfortable and you need boundaries around it. But there are just so many ways that like our parents had to process their emotions, and remembering that they also didn't learn how to do this. So they weren't able to teach us how to do it. And then we had a society grow up with a bunch of people walking around who are acting as adults, but really they're children inside, and our emotions are coming from that inner child inside of us that feels wounded from something from our childhood. So we aren't taught how to process, integrate, or even just feel our emotions. And the blueprint for how we go about doing those things comes from our childhood. So even if you had the parent who maybe like had a beer or drank every time they felt angry or upset, you might not be the person today who grabs that beer. You might just learn to do something instead of feeling your emotions. So when you feel upset, you turn towards something else. And it doesn't have to be something unhealthy. Sometimes when we feel big emotions, we go talk to somebody about our feelings, but we might intellectualize them, or we might bypass them, be like, I'm upset about this, but you know what? It's fine. Like, I am being too sensitive. Those words from childhood or the words we told ourselves when we are going through big emotions stick with us, and we actually have to unlearn those things so that we can feel our emotions again. We learned how to cope with things because of what we observed other people doing. And that becomes an issue when we become adults because we now have to do those things and survive and take care of ourselves and just do all the things. And it's a lot. But what I want to say is that emotionally, we need to learn how to connect to what we're feeling and feel those feelings. And there's greater purposes in feeling our feelings, because when you're frustrated or when you're upset, it might be indicating to you something about what you need or what you desire in your life. Or it might be a boundary that you need to have. So if your mother or whoever, friend, comes up to you and starts talking all about what they're feeling and dumps on you, and you are having a stressful day too, and you just want to be the person who pleases them and listens, it's really hard to turn around and honor our needs in that moment, to be like, hey, like, I'm having a hard day also, and what I need right now is just some peace and quiet. I mean, not saying it like that, but just like being able to stand up for your boundaries and your needs. If you're somebody who has big emotions like I do, then you are in the right place, because on this podcast, I'm going to be talking all about how we can process those emotions, how we can begin to feel again, and how we can connect back to ourselves. You're not alone. Societally, we are taught not to feel our emotions. And if you feel like there's something, like there's a sense of wrongness with that, and you need to honor how you're feeling, then you're in the right place. We're going to talk more about how you can actually do this, but for today's episode, I just want to leave you with a question. If you were to honor your inner child right now and throw a tantrum about something, what would you want to throw a tantrum about? And this is not to say that you go and throw that tantrum. It's just to like honor what is going on within you. What are you frustrated about? What are you upset about? What do you want to cry about? What are you angry about? Honor it. Admit it to yourself. Don't create like cognitive dissonance and be like, oh, it's okay that this person did something that hurt me. It's not. You deserve to honor that feeling within you. Honor those feelings. And if this is an episode that helped you feel seen, then subscribe to the podcast or on YouTube. Give it a like, engage with this video, leave a comment telling me what you would throw a tantrum about, because your feelings are totally valid and accepted here. Stick around, because some good topics are coming up, and we're going to be talking all about emotional literacy and being responsible for our feelings, but also about boundary setting and so much more. I'm really excited, and it's so hard to keep these episodes short, but I'm grateful for you being here, and see you next week. Bye.